What's good, everybody? It's your boy, the Q-Tip, and we're back with another video. I think this is video 5 of my December run of videos. I'm still not one to call it Q-Tip miss. I'm going to find a word eventually, but I think this is the 5th video of December. We started on the 2nd. Today's the 7th. Yeah, so this is the 5th episode. This is the 5th video in December. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you're tapping in with everything we're doing over. We're doing NBA, we're doing WNBA, women's college, men's college, NFL, tennis, all kinds of different things. So make sure you guys are tapping in with that. But today we're talking about the next chapter once again. Yesterday was TNC 03, their 3rd pay-per-view, and we're going to break it down. We're going to talk about each matchup, what I noticed in each matchup, what I enjoyed about each matchup, what I wish would have happened in certain matchups. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So the first matchup was J. Lou and Ryan. It was the free YouTube matchup. I think Ryan started out 11-0, 9-0. Started getting downhill early in the game, getting layups and things. Zach? Nope, just kidding. He got out of it. Sorry. Wow, he scored. All right. Sorry about that. Got red zone on. So then J. Lou started to slowly climb back. It was 19-14, I want to say. It was 16-14. Ryan hit a 3 from the logo, from inside the half court circle. Did a celebration this kind of celebration. And then I don't know if it was in the midst of that or if it was after the shot and he didn't realize, but then when he turned around, he called timeout. He went like this, and then he went like this, and his forearm was cramping up really bad to the point where they took him to the back and they had a trainer working on his forearm for 10 to 15 minutes, and you could see the knots just kind of building up, or you could see the cramp just I don't know, you could just see it kind of getting worse and worse. So he ended up not being able to finish the game. They are filming their season today, so there's a chance that we see that game be played out today. It would be played out today, but don't know when we would see that video. I don't know if they're going to start from 1914, if they're going to start from 0-0. That's a question that will be answered, I guess, by Scotty or whenever we see the video come out, if the video comes out. But before that, it was a good game. I liked what Ryan was doing. I liked the fact that J. Lou was getting back into the game because it was not a good start for him. It was looking kind of bad, not going to lie. And I was a little worried because he was really, really adamant about wanting to be on the scene and wanting to be back in TNC and, building himself back up. And it was looking bad for a little bit, but he was able to make a push, make it more interesting. And then obviously the Ryan injury hurt it, so we didn't get to see that. And then the first game on the pay-per-view officially was Isote versus C4. And since the other game didn't finish, and that was the free game on YouTube, they allowed the first 10 points for that next game. Oh, wow. Fumble and touchdown. There's a lot going on. It's 4th quarter. It's the witching hour, and I'm recording for you guys, so come on now. Tap in with me. But yeah, They put the first 10 points of that game on YouTube, and then they switched it over to TNC League. And C4 was up 10-0, if I'm not mistaken, when they went to TNC League. And it didn't get any better for Tay. I think Tay had hit a 3 at one point, and it was the first shot that he had made. Then I think he got to 5, maybe. I think he made a free throw for sure. So yeah, because he ended up with 6. And C4 just looked miles better. I don't even understand what completely happened. I think Isote was kind of shading him one way, but C4 is so athletic and so explosive that Tay couldn't get back in front of him. So he was just getting, I won't say easy layups, but he was getting good looks at the rim. And then he was so worried about him going downhill that when he was doing snatchbacks and pullbacks, the jumper was mostly open. It was just a really, really rough matchup for Tay. A rough night for Tay shooting too. It's not like he got great looks. I don't think he was getting phenomenal looks, but even the shots that I would consider to be good looks, He didn't make those either. So that was definitely something that was certainly not expecting. I was like silent that entire game. And most of the games, I either like, I'm normally watching these things. Well, I'm always watching these things by myself. But normally I'm somebody that like talks out loud when things are going on. In that game, I was just shocked. I didn't have anything to say because I didn't know what was going on. Then the game ended, and it was just like, wow. And then they were like, yeah, C4 versus Rob, we need that. They're like, if Rob wins, we need C4 versus Rob. C4 is heading for that top spot, which was crazy because going into the pay-per-view, it was like whoever wins Moon versus Cam will play Rob, essentially. So, yeah, so we got that. Just a weird night. They kept, Marcellus, A. Millie, and B. Ellis kept saying it on commentary that it was a weird night, and it really was, honestly. Like, it was a night where things that you weren't expecting to happen, happened. Besides Keon and Lat. But let's get to Keon. Keon and Reese's game. Reese started out pretty good. And Keon had me worried for a little bit, but every time Reese would make a run or make a little surge, Keon would just shake his head like, yeah, we good, we good. Also, I don't know how Keon plays with all his hair. Like, he has dreads too, and his dreads are like all the way out here, super long. Like, I don't know how he plays with his hair down without having it like tied back or whatever. That's just crazy to me. But yeah, Reese started out really good. Keon made a push, and then Reese made another run, and it was like, whoa, hold on. I think it was like 22-14, something like that. 22-16, maybe 24-16. And then Keon just went on a tear. And it's what we talk about with Keon is like his ability to score in bunches is just different. Like, there's not many people in the space that can score with ease the way that he can. And it's incredible to watch. Sel said it last night. He's like a rock star. He's a 1v1 rock star, and really he is, because it really came out of nowhere. Like, he played in Chapter 2, Season 2. Had 2 good games in the third day, because the second day he missed because he overslept and just didn't show up. And then played so well in those games that he got the pay-per-view matchup against Kel. Then he won that 30-9. And then it was supposed to be Kel versus Burke. And so since it wasn't, Keon played Burke and he beat him, even though Burke ended up getting hurt. The game was already out of hand. Like, I don't think Burke was going to come back and win that. Wow. Another interception? This one got tipped in the air. Sorry, it's a lot going on, bro. But yeah, I don't think Burke was going to win that. Keon continues to prove himself. I think we might be heading towards Keon Cam now. Maybe Keon Moon. Moon said he wanted... Never mind, I'm not going to say who he wanted yet because that'll spoil... Well, I'm assuming most of y'all seen it. Moon said he wanted DA. Cam wanted Rob if he had won. He didn't win. You also got you also got Lat out there. Well, let's get to that game. Dede and Lat. It was a really good game, honestly. That was, for a while, it was game of the night. For a good bit, it was game of the night, and then it just, like, Dede was playing good defense. He was hitting the 3-ball. He was getting to the rim. He was finishing. He was making free throws, and then Lat's just like a machine, really. Like, the way that he trains, the way that he prepares. He's prepared for almost anything that you're going to do in a game. And he really doesn't worry about a defender. Like, it doesn't matter if your hand is there, if it's not there. Like, he's going to get to where he wants to get to, and he's either going to make it or he's going to miss it. And 9 times out of 10, he's going to make it because he's that kind of efficient. I was impressed with Dede because, honestly, I mean, the score ended up being 30-20 because Lat went on a run, but I feel like that game was much closer than the score says. So I was impressed with Dede, but Lat is just different. Like, Lat is probably, regardless of results, he's top 10 in the space. Like, he's top 10 in the space, regardless of TNC, OTD, ball is life. Like, top 10 in the space. And then after that, we have Rob and DA. Rob had me lit at the beginning. Rob had me lit. I was up. I was talking a lot of shit. Even at certain points towards the end, like it looked like, all right, it's over, it's a wrap. And he was just, I don't want to say he was settling, but he wasn't as aggressive late in game as he should have been. I feel like there was ways for him to get downhill and just continue to force him to either foul you or make the layup. There was a couple times where he probably got fouled. They didn't call it. And then it was 28-28. DA kind of got stopped and was going to have to shoot like some tough fadeaway. But if he would have made it, it would have been game. Rob stripped the ball. They called a foul, which I disagree with. I didn't think it was a foul. I thought he got ball. So then DA got to shoot a free throw, and that was 29-28. And then Rob didn't really contest on the last shot. DA kind of just shot like a set shot, like didn't really jump. And it went in. And he got to pop his shit. He got to talk a lot of trash. Lance Stevenson was walking around talking a lot of trash. They was talking about, is this your king and all this other stuff. And it's just like, and of course the comments are going to go straight to, oh, Nas wouldn't have done this. The Nas and Briscoe game was very close to being exactly that, if we're being honest. Obviously, it's different because Rob was in Charlotte and Nas was in enemy territory playing in New Jersey. But that game, like, if Briscoe didn't quit, there's a high possibility that Briscoe gets a stop and ends up scoring and winning that game, and it's a completely different conversation. Now, should Rob have won this game? Yes. Is there really anything he can do about it? Not at this current moment, obviously, because they just played. But I still think Rob is the better 1v1 player. But when you go out there and you put your name on the line and there's $10,000 on the line and you don't win, there's going to be a bunch of different things that are said. So he just got to do his thing, do what he normally does, get in the gym, work, come back, build. I'm assuming he's in the season that they're filming today. So he's got a chance to get right back into it. There's a lot of guys that are going to be angry and they're going to be right back into it today. I'm assuming Cam, Day, Lat, Iso Tay. I'm assuming all those guys are in it. Keon, Reese. I'm assuming all those guys are in the season. I don't know about C4 because he was playing an overseas season. I doubt DA is in it. But there's a lot of guys that have played yesterday that are going to be in the season that's coming out in a few weeks that are going to be ready to make their moment or to bounce back. There's also going to be guys that were there watching last night that are going to be like, bro, I should have been in this, or I would have won if this was me, things like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the season looks like. I'm hoping to try to react to some of the games towards or about a good bit into the season. So yeah, that'll be cool. And then the main event, Cam versus Moon. They call him LeMoon James for a reason, man. Oh my God, fumble? It's too much going on, bro. They call him LeMoon James for a reason. He walked Cam down. I mean, Cam, there was a point where I was like, okay, there's a chance. Like, I was like, all right, if Cam stays locked in right now, this game is over. He made a couple shots in a row. He was feeling good. And he made a three. And I was like, all right, we're good. He didn't move. He just stared at the rim. He was locked in. I don't remember if it was a 2 or a 3 the next possession, but he scored again. I think he might have hit a 3. Because I think that gave him 24, either 24 or 27. I think that gave him 27, I want to say. And then he started jawing with 1-9 from Moon's corner. He started dapping up people in the crowd, dapping up people on his side, and I was like, that's going to mess him up. He just lost focus of what he needed to do. He just lost focus. What he didn't do against Lat is what he did against Moon. When he came back against Lat, he was locked in. When he got those couple of layups and was getting downhill, and then it was like, all right, he's got his chance. He's got his chance to get this 3 off. He slowly walked back to the half court line. He was composed. He was breathing. He was relaxed. And people were talking to him in his ear, and he was like, yep, I hear you. He was smacking their hands, but that was it. He hit that 3 again. I want to say it was a 3. He hit the 3. He started talking big. And I think there was an adrenaline dump. And not just an adrenaline dump. I don't know exactly what happened, but he started throwing up after that. And after that, Moon knew. Moon was like, how long does he get? How long does he get? So then, of course, Ken feels like, all right, now I got to get back out here because they're about to start questioning me and all this other stuff. So he gets up. And for the first few possessions, he don't look like he's good. But then he gets back into it. And it's just like, he's only got about 2 possessions. He's only got 2 chances on the offensive side to win this game. And he missed a few of those, or he missed both of them. And then Moon was going on just 5-point bunches, and then boom, hit the last 3, game over. And yeah, I feel bad for Cam because he played so well all year. He would have been able to go undefeated all season unless he had played in the season and lost, I guess. But he would have been able to say he was undefeated for the entire year. And that would have been big for him. I still think with the award shows coming up and things, I still think he has a great case for Player of the Year. But I will say Moon deserves so much respect. And last night, I think it was B. Ellis that said he might be the GOAT. And honestly, I think it's between him and Scoob. Like, Moon really might be the GOAT of this 1v1 space. Like, pound for pound, like, he's not going to be able to body with Nas and Zay and even Rob in a certain case. But pound for pound, Moon might be the best guy in the space because, or not even the best guy in the space, but he might be the GOAT just because he's never out of the game. And the same way for Scoob. Scoob is never out of the game. Like, I know Scoob lost to Eugene this year, but outside of that, I mean, he beat LP, he beat Rob. He's played LP a lot in 2s and 3s. He beat Nitty. Like, Scoob has got some wins. I know he lost to Nesco. I think he beat Trado. Yeah, like, yeah. And I really hope that there's more, like, inter-faction games next season. Or next year. I hope we're seeing more Rob versus Cams. And we shouldn't have to wait this long for a Cam versus Moon, but I'm glad we did. Tay and C4. These kinds of matchups, I hope we see more of these this year. And then same as, like, Balls Life OTD. I want to see Scoob versus Bruce. I want to see Scoob versus Nas. Scoob versus Zay. I want to see LP versus Nas, LP versus Zay, which I think we might be getting in their upcoming pay-per-view. If that's the case, though, I don't know who Scoob plays. Like, Scoob and Nas gotta run it at some point. Maybe Scoob and Nesco run it again in a gym, I guess. Well, now they played a gym in Nesquik, but yeah, I don't know, man. But TNC03 was another great one. I hope TNC04 is close to me, because if it's close to me, I'm gonna try to make my way there, make sure I'm there, because being in that atmosphere, it just looks like so much fun. The production, the setup, everything is great. So shout out to Scotty, shout out to Friga, shout out to everybody behind the scenes, shout out Grayson behind the camera. There's a lot of people, Red Eye Media, all those guys. Shout out to all them. They do a great job. Shout out to Balls Life and OTD as well. They also have been doing a really good job with their pay-per-views. I'm going to talk about them as more and more comes up. But let me know what you guys think, what you guys thought about TNC03, how you feel about what happened with Rob, Cam, Tay. Like, where do these guys go from here? These are like TNC like guys. Like, obviously Moon is too. C4 is a TNC guy, but like Cam, Rob, Tay are like day one TNC guys at this point, kinda. So it's I don't want to say back to the drawing board, but they're gonna have to prove themselves to get back to where they want to get to. I'm not saying like Cam and Rob dropped a bunch. Now I will say Tay probably dropped a good bit. Losing 30-6 is crazy. And they was kind of like, oh, no, that's not on Tay. Nah, we're not going to do that. We got to hold guys accountable, because the same way we was on Friga when he got smoked by Nas, we got to be on Tay the same way when he got smoked by C4. Because if Nas is the number one guy in the space and him beating Friga was supposed to be like really, really bad, what's C4 versus Tay then? That's all I'm going to say on that. I'm not saying that Tay deserves a lot of harsh critics or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, we can't say, oh, this ain't about what happened this ain't about Tay, this is about C4. No, it's about both. It's about both. But I will say, oh wow, I will say it's gonna be really fun to see how they respond in the season coming up, and what happens and how they build onto TNC04. I think Scotty said TNC04 would be February, so we're not that far out. We're only 2 months away. So I want to see how they build onto it, and I'm gonna be trying to do more content with it here. So make sure you guys are liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I appreciate you guys for watching.